We're calling the board meeting to order. This is the Farm Board of Allied Health Examiner, and this date is, let's see, today. This is the regular session agenda for July 29th. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, okay, recording. We have form Mr. Beretta, Mrs. Crisanto, Dr. Harper, myself, Nate Malaja, and our counsel, David Heisman. Let's review the minutes and approval of June 3rd, which is not ready, right? June 3rd is not ready. Could you review the minutes of July 1, last session? Motion? You vote. 2 seconds for approval of minutes.
I was absent at the July 1st.
Oh, okay. So, Timo? Minutes. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Yeah. And let's move to old business, legal counsel's report, Mr. Heisman. Any others? Because I have not talked to him.
Okay. On Dr. Roger Martinez, a chiropractor, I have had an absolutely terrible year of health. I had pneumonia for 4 or 5 weeks. Presently, I've had some kind of pulmonary problem for the last 2 weeks, and I just haven't been able to work full time. So I do not have the charges ready on Dr. Martinez. Hopefully I can have them by the next meeting.
Okay.
I'm feeling a little better.
Okay.
Else I wouldn't be here today. In fact, I've missed the last couple of meetings.
Okay. Is there any other issues that you report that are related to this board?
Well, as you know, Ben Abrams, the Assistant Attorney General, is continuing the investigation of a veterinarian, and he is proceeding in that. That's all I'm going to say.
I have a question for Dave, if you let me speak.
Sure.
Could you just review the process of how we resubmit our revisions to the legislature?
Well, there isn't much of a process. You just put the bill together and address a letter to the speaker and explain what you want in the letter about the intention of the bill and why you think it's a good idea, and send it down there. That's all you have to do. But you need a senator to introduce it. So probably informally, the procedure would be to sit down with Senator Rodriguez, the chairperson of the Health Committee, or some other senator, and ask them to introduce it on our behalf. But there's nothing formal that has to be done. The Attorney General doesn't have to sign off or anything like that. It's really just a question of getting the senator to take your side and introduce the bill.
And the board, does the board think that?
I would say, just to be sure, you should vote
Okay.
to submit the revisions as they were drafted and submitted in the last legislature, which is, I think, what you have in mind. Yes. It's the 31st.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, so they were submitted, well, whatever you want to submit.
Yeah.
Just vote to resubmit.
Well, resubmit, so we don't
Yeah.
have to redo everything. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's-
well, you submit what you want to submit.
Okay.
But when the last legislature ended, so did any hopes of passing the bill legally. That just terminates.
Okay. So we need a little work session to put that together and then present it to the board next month. I'd be willing to work on it.
This time, we want to acknowledge also board member, the presence of Dr. Chong and also Dr. Triolo. Okay, let's move on. Any other issue that you want our council to talk about? No? Okay, let's move on to old business, or B. I want to report concern about professional exam service computer-based exam agreement. This is old business is because for a couple of years now, there's an agreement between PES and the board in providing examination for professional psychology practice. The exam is called EPPP. So before an individual is licensed, they have to have the EPPP exam. So this is what it is, and I want to report to you that that agreement is in effect, and I have been in contact with them, and I have also registered already one candidate so far. We don't anticipate that candidate, but it probably be, a few. But this is very important, is that Guam board is able to provide examination to psychologists.
Now, is this psychologists in general, or specifically clinical psychologists?
It's psychology in general who has a doctorate. So the qualification is that you have to have a doctorate in psychology before you get to the exam. Yes. And as you know, the American Psychological Association do not recognize anyone called psychologist unless you have a doctoral. So, but the exam is provided to all individuals, who have a doctorate and wishes to practice, so they have to pass the exam. And it is in our rules of,
So that would apply for those that are already licensed, they would have to take the exam?
No, it applies to future individual who are not yes. Okay, I just want you to know that that process is in place. The next is medical assistant bill. As you know that some time ago that has been discussed, the bill has been drafted and is going to be submitted to the Senator on Health, Senator Dennis Rodriguez. And the bill was written with input from GCC Allied Health programs that certify or provide a program for medical assistant. As we discussed before, let me refresh this and remind you that medical assistants have various skills. They have to be certified, and so GCC has that program. And they provide services to various clinics, various doctors' physicians, chiropractic clinics, podiatry clinic, and they kind of run the clinic, and they have various skills. So this has been brought to the attention of the board to have this incorporated under LIL is because Governor Wong do need this type of person to be running various clinics. Particularly the regional community health center. I've been pressured by Dr. Word that, to get this going with the GCC. And on top of that, that part of this bill I've incorporated was a former employee of Dennis Rodriguez, Lori Duenas. Lori Duenas is a nurse who I also have NPH, and she was working temporarily with Senator Rodriguez. So she gave me some input and she wrote some part of it. So what I've done is I put everybody else, and it's just a draft. So it's going to have to go through the scrutiny of many process, as you all know.
Maybe when this gets passed, does GCC need to certify it anymore? Is it going to be like speech and school, school?
No. What happened is that the board will be the one to certify individuals
Yeah, so.
as a medical assistant, but GCC produces the people, they
Okay.
graduate people. But remember, this goes back to also the massage therapy, is that once they pass the program, they also have to take the national board to be certified.
Right.
So the whole regulation is also the same in line with national standards.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so this is reporting for you. We talked about the webpage for all along last meeting. I have talked to the Director of Public Health and Social Services, and he agreed that because right now, anything related to an individual being licensed is really all the way down, scroll down under the website of Department of Public Health Social Service, and you don't really know where, and it's not user-friendly. What I proposed is that we have a whole webpage dedicated to all the boards, and they can be sectioned off, linked to various boards. And then also, applications will be online, so that it will make it easier for licensee candidates, applicants, to download online and submit and fill it out, as well as posted licensed individuals or individuals who are not renewed. But this has to be in a group of people to agree what should be posted. But I think at this time and age, we really need to have something that is friendly and easier for applicants, especially from off-island applicants, instead of calling and writing, and then we have to mail them out, so this is what is the proposal. And it's going to be some design that has to be done, and it has to be along with other boards. But as we all know, basically, things are going to be the same, but there's particulars applied to each board that are different. We want to post, I think, the 10 GCA applying to all the boards, Chapter 12 particularly, and anything in laws related to the practice of all licensed individuals under health. So that's my proposal. And I've indicated this to the director already, and he is very much in favor. Dave, I know that there's law concerning about requirement of departments to be posting, have a website, right? Is that correct?
Yes. Every department is required to have a public page. So you might be able to look into whether this could be put on public health's webpage or links there somehow.
Yeah, but if you take a look at public health webpage, it talks about the organization and some of the issues, like immunization and all the latest information on diseases. And the only thing that you can see is called licensure board on the side, on the left side. So if you click onto that, it doesn't tell you anything. It just tells you that there are boards. There's no information for anybody who's looking at it.
Yeah.
So we really need to kind of set it up and design it in such a way that the public can view it in a friendly user way and that is useful. Because right now, to me, it's not useful. And then also the listing of all the people currently licensed, is all the way to a memo or some public information letter, which is, nobody is going to be going all the way down, read it, and click on it to find out whether I'm licensed. So we want to make it in such a way, have a design, that whenever you want a topic you want to go to, let's say, medical board, you click on it and all the information come out, and that what law applies to the boards and what law, what they are, so that people are more informed in this matter.
So I just want you to know that this thing needs to be, because we talked about it for the last 2 or 3 years. And then also, of course, we talked about cost. You know, the board doesn't have any money, the cost is a factor. So that has to be, so I don't know, it might take another several months to talk about it, to get things going, but I just want to bring this up because this has been an old business. Any comment? Okay, we move to new business. There's a proposed new fee schedule, if you take a look at that. Today, we wanted to take a look at this for us to vote on it, on the proposed fee. And after we vote on it, we still have to have a public hearing on the proposed fee, according to AAA. Am I correct, Mr. Heisman?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So take a look at this, and do you have any comment, or you have any?
Can we just take a look at each one? I mean, just bring up each one and get a census.
So the ultimate approval of this is the legislature?
No, not necessarily. This is the procedure. You vote to approve this, okay? Then you have to make a certain number of copies. I think it's 5 copies or something. But really, just have an abundance of copies here available, so that anybody who wants to can come into the HPLO and pick up copies, okay? Then you notice a public hearing in accordance with the open government law. And anyone who wants to can come in and comment on the proposed rule, or in this case, the fees. You don't have to do what they say, you just have to entertain their remarks. Okay? Then, the chairperson would transmit the rule to us, assuming there are no changes, to the Attorney General's office. We would approve it, and then it would be filed with the legislature. So 90 days after it's filed with the legislative secretary, it becomes law. So if you filed it on September the 1st of this year, it would become law on December the 1st. The legislature does not have to approve them. It can repeal them, approve them, not approve them, modify them, whatever the legislature cares to do. But if they do nothing within 90 days, they become law.
Thank you. As you know, on the bottom it is that established, this current fee established in 1998. We have not had a fee change or increase of fees in 1998. So let's go into, right now, in the current application, there's no application fee. It's only application by endorsement or by exam. So because the situation applies to different disciplines. So anybody who's applying for a license will have application fee generally $200. And many individuals who apply for license don't really know what the law pertains, what it is about. So I think that it should include a copy of the Practice Act or any, or where they can refer to, so that people can read up what the rules are. So that is what the proposal is. Then an endorsement, as you know, endorsement means that you have a license from another state and you apply for license on Guam, so that's an endorsement. Application by exam. Right now, the only application by exam is the psychologist. We give the EPPP. And you know that with given the EPPP exam is that the applicant has to pay. The board does not collect any fee on that because we're not collecting. They have to directly pay the exam service for taking the exam.
I'm sorry, maybe should we have application by exam, because I don't think any other discipline has an exam?
Yes, you do. You have to have it, because when you apply to take the EPPP, by exam means the application.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, even though it doesn't apply, all it takes is one discipline. You have to include that. You cannot just say others are not.
Okay.
You know, you have to. Now, the nursing home administrator, I mean, I think that has been there for a while, but I don't think that's necessary there because when the nursing home administrator, which is only one person on the island, when they apply for, you know, renewal license, they should go under renewal. So to me, it doesn't, you know, make sense. I'm not certain when we're having a meeting what certificate we call exemption, but because it's there in the law, I just thought that it's there and there's no change. You just leave it. License fee, initial, renewal fee, that's very clear. Late renewal fee.
$50 is late.
The late renewal fee means that when it's due on December 30th of the cycle, 31st sometimes is a holiday, sometimes 31st is not. So if you turn it in January 2nd, which is a Monday, it's late. Because all licensees have been told ahead of time since September to renew the license, so it takes several months to remind you. So I think it should be a
My question
responsibility.
is, how is the $200 increase arrived at? That's 100% increase just for being late. Are you saying that that's,
Well, that's to discourage people from being late.
so why not 150?
I don't know, that's just a suggestion, you know. You can bring it up as you know, when you, for discussion. You know, I think that people are responsible individuals when you have license. You need to turn it in ahead of time. You already got a reminder in September, and then you're gonna wait till January to remind you to submit your license? How responsible are you? So, that is, coming from me, as a psychologist, that's to discourage people from being late. You know, but then, of course, we understand that people who do that. Now, right now it says collaborative practice agreement for prescription authority. It only applies to PA and psychology, clinical psychologists. So it's initial and renewal. So that's going to be increased. That is only for individual who's applying prescribing authority. But when you don't have to apply, right? Only for those who are. License verification means that if you go to another state to apply for a license, and you need to have this office verify whether you have a license, you know, so that's what it means. Reissuance of certificate is the certificate initially when you are licensed, you give it a certificate. So that is, if you lose it, you want to have another one, then that's what it means, that reissuance. And then the license card that you have, it was $10, we up it to $50 if you lost it. This is only when you, for the reissuance. Copy of the Practice Act. For example, is this book here? There's a lot to be duplicated. So you want a copy after new applicants right now, you know, you want a copy, it will cost you money for the staff to duplicate. So the rest of the others are pretty, you know, it's still the same. The reason we didn't change the photocopying and initial paper because it's in line with public health fee schedule. So we don't want it to be any change. Yeah.
Maybe I have questions, a couple of questions. Copy of, now in the application, you get a copy of the Practice Act and I think one discipline, the discipline you're applying for. So the copy of rules and regulations, is that the Practice Act or rules and regulations?
We don't have any rules and regulations.
Right, so we need to retitle this, right? We need to say copy of, is this an additional copies of?
No, but the Practice Act is this book here.
Yeah, so, but up here in application includes copy of Practice Act.
That's right.
Yeah.
So when I apply license initially, I get a copy. That's why it costs me $200.
So the extra, if you want an extra one, that's what that $20
Yeah.
is.
Okay. I'll give you one right now. You have to pay $20 to get a copy.
Okay. So this should be Practice Act. And then the second one is.
Well, I didn't want it to take out rules and regulations because this board is supposed to produce rules and regulations. And I know that I've been talking about it.
We will have them someday.
Yeah. How many months now? A couple of years? It's been on the agenda, and I'm getting tired of it. So I'm not gonna write everybody else's rules and regs, I can write my own on psychology, but, it's just too much work. So people have to write their own, and I've been bringing it out to the agenda so many times, so I didn't take it out, it has to be there. So everything else is there, according to the Practice Act.
I got one more question to clarify. So if I'm applying first-time application, I'm paying $200, and then I pay $50 more for the certificate?
No.
Okay.
If you lose the original one and you need a copy.
No, there's a license reissuance certificate of $100. So what is this license fee initial? We don't need that anymore, right? Because the
If you lose your certificate, you want to get a new one.
Yeah,
That's what it
that's down
costs.
at the bottom. But here's license fee initial in the middle. See that? We don't need that anymore, right?
What are you talking about?
License fee initial.
125
Yeah.
and 50.
We don't need that anymore, right?
Yeah, initial.
License fee here, right here. So,
This is confused.
Now, wait, I think you pay $125 to apply, and then if you're issued a license, you pay another
no.
$25, isn't that it?
No, that's where we got into trouble. We have always paid $125. I don't know what happened, that things were being charged double, but I don't think it should have been. I think it was a misinterpretation, and it should be $125 for the application and the certificate. But see, this license fee initial somehow got in there a long time ago, and it was just never dealt with.
David's
That's
right,
okay
though.
now.
The application is 125. Once you get approved from the board, you pay the license fee initial, and that's what it is.
No, it wasn't, Jane. It was 125. This new 120, another 125 was incorrectly applied to some people, not everybody. So we've never had a 250.
Dave, you
It's always
wanted
been
to
125.
jab at this?
Well, it's just a question of what the board wants to do. I mean, if the idea is that you pay $125 to apply, and that's it, or
But
you have to pay another fee to get your license when it's approved.
To me, it should be all inclusive of one fee. If you
Right.
pay 125,
I would
you
tend
should
to-
get the certificate on.
I would tend to agree with
So
that.
let's X out license fee initial. We don't need it. We don't need
Just take
nursing
it out,
home
yeah.
administrator. We don't need certificate of exemption either. Because I don't even know what that means.
Jane? There must be a reason why things are there.
Do you know what
I don't know what the
certificate of exemption is?
exemption is. I have to check which one. I think there was in the past, people getting licenses, I don't know what was before.
Maybe that was from the very old law, and this never got changed for the present law.
I can't say what it means either.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it's supposed to mean you're exempt for some reason from the licensing requirements, but I don't know of anything in our law that requires us to do that. So rather than have something completely superfluous, I think it probably should be removed.
Yeah, there's nothing in our law that says
Yeah.
certificate.
Okay, accordingly then, nursing home administrator is removed, certificate of exemption is removed, license fee initial is removed. So one, submit an application.
Yeah.
Is that kind of clear for the public? I mean, it's not only us reading, it's also applicants, Dave?
Yeah, I think if
Okay.
that's fine.
So those three are being deleted.
And the copy of present practice act and rules and regulations is added down at the bottom. Not just rules and regulations, copy of, if you want an extra copy of the present Practice
No, they're
Act and
very
rules and
different. The Practice Act is different from rules and regs. Rules and regs, you haven't written it up yet.
Okay, so, yes, I know that, but what are we, then we shouldn't put copy of Practice Act and rules and regulations, like you were saying. We should put what?
No, I would prefer just leave it so it's clear for the reader.
I think that's better.
Yeah, don't dump it off.
Don't-
For example, let me show
I'll
you.
tell you, it's almost obsolete because the Practice Act is on the web,
Right.
at the Guam Compiler of Laws and at the Guam Legislature. So anybody who wanted to print it could just print it off the web.
Right.
I'm not absolutely sure whether the compilers put the rules and regulations. Some of them are on the web and some of them aren't.
Let me show you this. This is the rules and regs of the medical board.
Yes.
Theirs, okay?
Yes.
So theirs is there.
Yes.
Their Practice Act is very different.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so this thing hasn't been written by this board.
That's right. So, you want this to read how?
I think we just leave it there so that it's clear for the people. I mean, if people ask for it, what are you going to say? How is the office going to respond to people?
Okay, so you wanted to read copy of rules and regulations. I'm just trying to make some things clear here.
It's very clear, copy of Practice Act, copy of, yeah, so it's very
Well, you
clear.
can say whatever you want to say.
This one, read it like it should be. Just read it for me, because I'm confused. Read this one for me.
It should read the way it is.
Copies of rules and regulations.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody have any comment on this?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, Dr. Chong?
First of all, I'd like to know who brought up this, schedule fee. And second is it the right time to, raise our fee? Because everybody is suffering from financial, economic, so, I don't know whether this is, I don't mind to raise, but there's no such a place as like 100% raise fee like this. I never seen other place. Like 25%, but 100% is like late fee, $100, and late fee is going to be $200. That's so ridiculous.
Well, that's why we're here, Richard, and we should be talking about each and every individual female.
Everything
I don't
has
think
to be
it's very
reasonable.
much. I mean, for the Guam bar, I have to pay $300 a year. What is it for doctors, do you know? 400. This is really pretty cheap. And
Richard?
I would say that the idea behind the fees is to cover the administrative costs in looking at some of these applications.
Yes.
$200 doesn't even cover it.
This was since the fee was established in 1998. What year is today?
2011, I know that, but my question is it the right time to raise our fee right now?
It's never a right time. I don't think it's right time to raise any fee. But remember that the fee pertains to professional individuals who have practice and they do make a living. I don't agree with power either, but you can vote against it if you want. I mean, this is why we're having a board meeting for the vote, so.
May I suggest we just go over each fee now that we've got the titles ready? Can we go over each fee and see if we got a consensus and then we can vote on the whole thing?
What, everybody's been looking at it already, so.
Does anybody have any changes to the fees that they'd like to suggest?
I think the reissuance of the certificate and the license card should stay the same.
Down near the bottom.
Yeah, on third.
Reissues a certificate, reissues a license card. You want it to be 75 and 10?
Yeah.
Okay.
For that, I think it should stay the same.
I'd like to propose that the fee renewal fee be reduced to 150 rather than 200.
Okay, so we're changing, for the vote, we're changing reissuance of certificate, reissuance of license card, and late fee to 150.
question. Application fee, that means, newly who apply. How about application by exam is another 180. That means, new doctors come in and apply for the license. That means 380, okay? What do you mean, application, by exam fee is 180?
Psychologists have to take an exam.
That wouldn't apply to
So they would fall under this one only, not both.
Right.
So they would just be under this. Not
No,
this
nobody
and
pays
this.
more than one fee to apply.
For a new license.
Yes.
For a new license. Are we ready to vote now?
Well, if you want, or once, we can postpone this to another time also.
I'd
The
rather
reason why that we need a fee schedule is the board does not have any money. Any expenditure is being given by individual board members in order to conduct business. How many of you have personally put out money for the operation business of the board? So the collection of this money, in fact, goes to the general fund. It doesn't mean that it's also available. So the fee is for the administrative operation of the board. That's the reason why the fee. And it's not been any change since 1998. But you may want to think about it and maybe talk about it at the next session instead of at this particular time. So do I have a motion?
I have one more question for Dave. What would it take to just keep the fees of the licensing board? Not go to the general?
You need a statute enacted by the legislature. You need permission of the legislature.
So that nobody can take our fees from us?
Yes.
Do you think that's a worthwhile thing to do?
I think it's a worthwhile thing it would be very worthwhile if it could be done. The legislature is traditionally reluctant to do that. But there are some boards that have that permission.
Okay. So do I have a motion that you wanted to, kind of like digest this and have any more comments rather than because this came from the last board meeting.
I'd like to vote on this now. I think we're clear about what we're voting on now.
I have one more question. I've been this board for like many years, but I never heard anything about annual report, how much we spend money for this and that. I never heard about it. I don't know. I'm the only one, so I don't know how much expenses for our board.
Mary Lou would produce an expense thing at certain meetings for our board.
Yeah, I've seen them.
I've seen it.
But then we get all of our money taken by another agency.
Yeah.
It would have to be produced by public health because they have control of your public
Come
health.
on, I haven't seen
You want to hear?
it. That's why I don't know what
But
it is.
I've seen it, Richard, if you want to see it.
It would be in public health's budget, which should be on the net.
Yeah, I know the financial page should be a part of each board's meeting, but it's been difficult getting a financial page from, they have to go through the AS400 and produce that, and the right people have to have the word to go in. Not everybody can go in. So, yeah, the last financial page was generated by Mary Lou, but she's been gone since December. Okay, so could we have a financial status page generated for this board meeting and see what we have? And I believe that I was told verbally it was only a couple of $100 here and there. Not enough to buy lunch, I assure you.
2 years ago, we had enough money so we can, our members, send, education or
You took it.
food.
The legislature.
No.
No?
Let me reiterate again that this has been a discussion that we did have quite a bit of money, several $1,000s. It was taken out by the governor's office, and it was sent to Department of Corrections to augment their shortfall. So the board does not have any money to operate. So you have money in the general fund, that's what it can do. So that's the reason why.
Sort of fence.
So anyway, what's the desire of this board about the fee schedule?
I'd like to make a motion that we pass this fee schedule with the understanding that nursing home administrator be deleted, certificate of exemption be deleted, license fee initial be deleted, that late renewal fee be changed to $150, that reissuance of certificate be changed to $75, and reissuance of license card be changed to $10.
Or remain the same, is correct.
And then otherwise, those figures remain the same.
Second.
Second by Dr. Harper. Are in favor of? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. The fee schedule, proposed fee schedule has been approved as amended.
The next stop would be to hold the hearing.
That's correct. So we will schedule a public hearing. It will be published in the newspaper.
Would it be here?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, right. Okay, let's move on
Thank you.
to application. So anybody, we have not reviewed, the chiropractor is not here, Jonathan Amirudis. Anybody review dietitian of Jana Willis? IMFT, let's move on to that.
I've reviewed that. I have two applications for
You want to review that?
licensure. One is a renewal, one is a new application for Doris Tyra. And I reviewed hers previously, and she meets all of the eligible requirements for licensure. So I therefore move that the board approve her application. Her name is Patricia, Dolores Tyra.
Why not
And then Patricia is a former IMFT licensee who led her license lapse when she got off island. And she's reapplied for licensure by endorsement. She's paid her fee, and she meets all the qualifications for licensure by endorsement, so I'm also recommending that the board approve the license.
You want to jump to speech language pathology? Very Santos?
I haven't reviewed it yet.
You reviewed Jana Willis, right? And also review of physical therapy, Evangeline Sayo and Cecilia Vargas. We're in control now. Okay. And also chiropractor.
Okay. Erica, I'm recommending Erica Santos, license for speech.
So Jane, on the particular cases, our chart that you reviewed, and it's all done. They're all in, all the reverse.
Now the PTs
This is,
are,
you reviewed this one?
Erica, yes, I'm approved, I'm recommending.
Okay, double down to one.
PTs, need something from the National Organization for Delaware. Yeah. Some sort of national board, or New York State is also,
What?
New York State license is also acceptable. They've got that, and they've got everything in there. That's the receipt. Or the register. Registers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does Richard have a PT too?
Yes.
Okay, so we're looking for a New York State license or a, something from the national association of government. Yeah,
So do we require national certifications?
yeah, so we're looking for that. Is there a passport?
Yes.
There is, yeah, okay.
Then I recommend Benjamin Sago for licensure.
New Jersey, New York State license.
Okay, we're waiting for, Vargas. Right? We're looking at Vargas.
First week,
Julia. Yeah. Okay. I recommend Cecilia Vargas for licensure under physical therapy. You review Erica?
I recommend
Okay, I've reviewed Jane Lewis, and you reviewed Jonathan and Lewis. Okay. These applications, the following applications for review and approval, it's been recommended that we approve the licensure of chiropractic Jonathan M. Marudis, Jana Willis, dietitian, Patricia Sprickner and Dolores Tyron for IMFT, Evangeline Sayo and Cecilia Vargas for physical therapy, Erica Santos for speech language pathology. All in favor of approval of license of these individuals stated, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Jane, thank you for correcting that. Okay, so thank you so much. Now we move to open forum. And before we do that, okay, I think then we can talk about other business on the next meeting. Any open forum is for any comments by individuals present. Dr. Joseph, you have two minutes.
First off, I would like to ask why the tape's off. Is the tape off still? Tape's on, okay. I understand you said that clinical psychologists have to have an exam. Is that correct? Is that correct, ma'am? Madam Chair, is that correct?
That's current licensure, that exam is required of a HOP.
Okay. You also stated that the American Association of Psychologists, etc., do not accept anybody that has not graduated from an accredited university with a doctorate. Is
I
that
did
correct?
not say that just now.
No, you said that at the beginning of the meeting, I believe.
I said that the American Psychological Association recognizes only individuals with a doctoral degree to be called a psychologist.
And a doctoral degree would be a doctoral degree in what?
Doesn't matter.
Well, it doesn't matter. You can have a doctorate in veterinary
In
medicine.
psychology.
In psychology, okay. So, for the benefit of the people, the American Association of Psychologists says that the person should have a doctorate in psychology.
As of what time? What year was that?
I cannot say what year it is.
That was the,
Got a question then. Has the Guam Board of Allied Health ever required a person for clinical psychology not to be a graduate of a college of psychology or the equivalent?
I know where this is going. Dr. Joseph has raised the issue over and over again. We've explained to him why he is mistaken. We have given him the interpretation of the law. It was given to the Guam legislature when he was present.
Actually, it wasn't, sir.
And you're interrupting me. And the fact of the matter is, Dr. Joseph is just off the mark on the law. So he's attacking the chairperson's qualifications, and he's just wrong. So I don't think we should waste any more time on this. We've talked about it at 6, maybe 8 meetings before. There's really nothing Dr. Joseph can do. There's nothing anyone else can do. Dr. Balahaja is properly licensed under Guam law and properly appointed to the board. So I think we should just drop that.
Okay,
Right,
next
you
topic.
can differ.
Next topic. I'm wondering why this board has not followed through on the things that the board has said it will do. If the board makes a declaration or resolution, the board is supposed to follow through on that. Okay? The board has not followed through on the resolution from Vice Chair Sybil Grisasko requiring a letter of apology to me. The board, excuse me, I'm talking. The chair, the board has not followed through on the request from the Oversight Committee for Mr. Highsmith to submit the explanation of why my license was sent to the National Veterinary Licensing Board, or why it wasn't. And you were to clarify why my license has not been cleared, or why it was ever reported to the licensing board when all those charges have been vacated or otherwise nullified. Okay? I'm also asking why this board has not bothered to follow through on any complaints regarding Dr. Harper. Okay, we have complaints regarding her competence based on her medical problem or drug problem or whatever it happens to be, regarding her shaking, and the board has never entertained that. The board has never entertained questions regarding animal cruelty on her part, and these have been submitted for years. Okay? In addition, I would beg to ask you and show me any time in the minutes of this board when you went over the documents that we submitted regarding Mamie Balahaja and her non-qualification for licensure. She has a degree as an EDD, a school teacher, and she's prescribing drugs to our mentally ill patients. So my question is, why is the board, excuse me, sir, you wanted to,
No, we need to interrupt him right now. We've dealt with all these issues 6, 8, 10 times in the past. They're all dead letters. The board decided not to prosecute or investigate Dr. Harper years ago. The board has no authority to investigate the qualifications of its own members. It couldn't do anything about Dr. Balahaja if it wanted to.
the board has no authority to investigate its members?
He's thrilled.
Okay,
You investigate me, I'm a member.
You're not a member of the board.
So the board's above the law. That's what you just said.
Okay, we only
That is
have-
absolutely ridiculous.
We have 1 or 2 individuals only because we have things to do. You are? Ben?
Yeah, a
Okay,
couple
Ben.
questions for the board. One of them was actually just the question we went over. So the board does not have the, what is it? The board does not have the right to investigate other board members on their qualifications. Is that correct?
If the board has no authority to eject or dismiss another board member. The governor appoints the board members.
Okay.
And
As for the governor appointing board members, for,
Yes.
For Public Law 3195, which was saying that all your terms expire January 2nd of this year.
That's not what it says. And that law is inorganic.
It's inorganic?
Certain parts of it are, yes.
And which are those certain parts? sir?
The parts that would seem to say that city board members'
The board
terms
needs to say-
expire
So the
at a
board-
certain point, and that the governor must reappoint them to be
How many have been...
examined by to be approved by the Guam legislature.
How many-
There's a written opinion on this.
So the board makes their own opinion on the law?
No, that was the Attorney General's opinion.
So and how many of you have been reappointed by the governor today?
I don't know.
You don't know. And you know you're supposed to be appointed by the governor because you just told me that. So, anyone?
No,
I don't
that
know, I'm
part
not-
of the law is inorganic.
And you get this from the Attorney General?
I wrote the opinion. I
You
work
wrote
for the
it.
Attorney General.
You wrote it.
Yes, and it was approved by the Attorney General.
Your...
You stop interrupting.
I'm sorry, sir. What's that?
Okay.
It was approved by my superiors at the Attorney General's office.
And you submitted it, correct?
I wrote it.
You wrote it and submitted to the AG's office and they okay. Yes?
It is the opinion of the Attorney General's office.
I had a question about the sexual abuse scandal that I heard about in the news. Why didn't any of the women actually get questioned about the chiropractor?
They have been interviewed by an investigator from our office, Mr. Brian Cruz.
Brian Kristen, is that in public record as well?
No,
No?
we preserved their,
That's the
be
criminal.
quiet again. You're
Sorry,
following
sir.
your father's footsteps.
And what footsteps
He
is that, sir?
investigated
What footsteps is that, sir?
rudeness.
You keep interrupting as well, sir.
It's okay, it's okay. I'm very mature.
No, he's
Continue, sir.
interrupting me.
Sorry.
He-
It will not
Mr.
happen.
Brian Cruz investigated, spoke to all the witnesses. None of the allegations even amount to ethical violations.
And he's...
There is no allegation that the chiropractor in question touched anyone's private parts or made offensive remarks to anyone or did anything that could even remotely be considered sexual harassment. So there was nothing to prosecute. The charges were dismissed. So,
Okay,
Next
any other?
question, I have an answer, because he doesn't
How many more
he doesn't want-
questions, Benjamin?
Well, this is a public meeting, and I just
But
wanted to
there has
ask
to
my
be a
question.
limit to it. Okay, the last question?
That's an opinion.
Last
This is not my-
question?
This is not my last question, and I'm sorry.
Last
I'm sorry,
question.
I'm trying to move on as fast as possible, but you're holding me up real quick.
Excuse me, because this is a board meeting, I understand there's a public forum, but there has to be a limit to it, because we
So you
need
guys
to
only
move on.
you only meet once a month, or how often? How often?
Your last question, please.
This is not my last question. ma'am.
Then I'm sorry.
hurry up.
Oh, thank you, sir. Okay.
You're interrupting.
Just trying to speed things up, so. For medical record releases, why is the AG office prosecuting some allied health professionals for not releasing medical records, but then when there are complaints to the board about other doctors not releasing medical records, it seems just never to be heard.
Let me just say this, Mr. Heisman. that the complaints against board members or other individuals about medical records, they have been looked into, but it may not be available to all public, but they have been investigated. So
And everything does have to be open to the public. That's not just because this is a board, it's just because that's open government laws as well. But if the AG is prosecuting some of them, who is doing the investigations? Just
the Attorney General's office investigators.
the investigations on the other ones too. And they're the ones, the Attorney General office is the ones saying which ones to prosecute and which not.
No, that's not the law. The board decides what to prosecute.
The board decides what to prosecute. So the AG office does the investigating, and then the board chooses which ones to go after? Is that how it goes? Is that how it happens?
No, we don't choose whoever. If there is merit, that board will discuss it.
And you get your merit from the AG's
The merit is
investigation.
depending on the complaints and what the merit of the case would be.
But you just said the board doesn't deal with the complaints, the AG office does the investigation.
Let me just say this once for all. When there's complaints that are brought to the board, they will be reviewed, and it is brought to the Attorney General's attention. They have investigated to investigate the complaints. And
So-
then, when that's done, then it will be brought up to the board, and it is the board's decision that whether it is further to be investigated or to be brought for disciplinary action or not. Those are the procedures.
So, once again, because I want to make sure, we give you the complaint, you guys choose to give that to you guys choose if that has merit. You send it to the AG's office to investigate, then they send it back to you guys for you guys to judge. So, on whatever
On
they
merit.
on merit, which you guys decided what to do to the AG, which complaint to give, correct?
No.
Okay. Yes? You said that
All
in their
complaints
last
that have
sentence.
merit are given to the Attorney General for further action.
And if you believe they don't have merit, they don't get turned into the AG's.
It depends.
It depends. But you choose, or you guys.
Well, we've been beating this to death.
Yes.
Let's
Okay,
move on.
let's move on. Okay.
You said that was the last question.
No, I did not, sir. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to move on as far as I can go.
Benjamin, how many more questions do you have?
Well, the more you guys talk, the more questions I ask on my single one question. Okay, 'cause I have a
Do you want to
question.
put it in writing so that we can entertain that?
I'd love to.
That's an excellent idea.
That's
Because
very
all the
good.
complaints,
And
people put it
These
in
aren't
writing.
complaints, these are questions. And this is
Also,
open
we
forum.
entertain questions, you put it in writing for
And you
us.
have, Mamie, right? Is that it?
I'm Dr. Balahaja.
Mamie Bowen, correct? Yeah.
I'm Dr. Balahaja.
Dr. Bowen. I have a question. You do have a degree in EDD, correct?
We've already dealt with
No, I
that.
have a question, sir. I'm sorry, do not interrupt me. I'm trying to
Ask the
interrupt you.
answer.
It's done.
This is my question. I'm not.
You heard it. You heard
You're
it.
interrupting me now.
You
Please,
talk.
I'm trying to move on.
The answer has already been provided.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, I did not catch the answer, sir. And if you let me, I can go on. But you do have a degree in EDD, correct now?
Move on.
Answer it.
This is my question.
Answer it.
Answer it.
Answer it.
Answer it.
Okay, as chair, I think we need to move on. I
Dr.
think this
Bella,
forum
I'm
is
asking you a
done.
question, ma'am.
Kangaroo court.
Do you have a degree in EDD, ma'am? Dr. Balaja?
It's been answered. Do you know?
What was the answer? I didn't catch it. I'm sorry. What was the answer?
What's the next question?
Everybody on the island knows him already.
Knows what? Everyone on the island already knows what?
What her degree is in, we've gone over it.
Okay, we need to have a motion to adjourn.
Are we all done?
Yeah, motion to adjourn. You move. Second?
The application, do we want to?
Second?
Sorry,
Second?
Okay.
I still don't know the answer, and I don't understand why you won't answer it. This is my first hearing, and I would like to know.
Second.
Not everybody knows.
All in favor of adjournment?
Excuse me, I believe the public still has a couple more questions. You only had two people in the public.
This is a public meeting.
You only had
Questions
two people
answered.
in the public question.
Why don't you let this lady ask a couple questions?
I mean, I would like to know.
Go ahead.
Because, Ms. Chairperson, I don't know whether to call her doctor or whatever, she freely admitted that she did not have a doctorate in clinical psychology anywhere. So, I mean, let's stand clear on this. Is she fully qualified to be in this board?
Yes.
By law.
By law.
Is she allowed to answer the question?
You asked a question about the law. She is qualified under law. She's been licensed since what, 1975?
Does she meet all the requirements? I mean,
1985.
do you have specific written guidelines for
There is-
continuing education?
There are statutes on who meets the qualifications to be licensed. She's been licensed,
Talk about
been
the
practicing since 1970 something. She meets the qualifications to be a licensed psychologist. Yes.
Okay, she said she meets the requirements.
Yes.
But she's never graduated as a doctor?
She has an
She
She
never
has an
graduated.
ED.
E.
EDD. Education.
So there is specific written guidelines
There are
For-
statutes.
for all health professionals
Yes.
included.
Yes.
Okay, we're done.
No, I believe there's 30 more people that have questions. This is a public forum.
Yeah. Okay. So any other questions? We have one more. We cannot be further. Sir?
More of a historical question regarding the board, maybe even the Guam Medical Board. Has there ever in the history of these boards had a board member being investigated? It seems to me it's a lot of, and I know, working on boards, you tend to protect each other. Has there ever been a board member investigated?
Mr. Heisen?
Yes, there have been board members investigated, and the investigation was conducted with that person recusing himself so that he played no part in it or in the board's consideration, and the charges were usually dismissed, as in fact in most professional complaints they are.
How many have actually been investigated? Never heard of it.
In my 3.5 or 4 years with the board, perhaps 2. That's all I can remember.
Have they actually been recommended to the agent office to be investigated?
They've been referred.
Any recently?
No.
Out of all of those, nobody has ever been prosecuted. All have been dismissed.
Not to the best of my knowledge.
Thank you. That's all I want to know.
Okay. Motion? That's it. Motion to dismiss?
To adjourn.
To adjourn, I'm sorry. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I got another question.
Jane, you already got that already.
I got a question.
Okay.
But I have more questions.
Well, the
I
next
got a
board
question.
meeting, all in favor?
I'm not done with my questions.
We're in favor?
I'm still not done with my questions. Excuse me.
So the next board meeting is September 2nd.
Okay.
Why don't you want to
Mr.
my
Murray,
question?
we'll be glad to entertain
Any
you.
reason why you won't answer questions from the public, being a public committee, a public board?
I have a question.
Is this by the governor's recommendation?
Mr. Murray,
So you guys can just go away?
for what it was.
So this education verification is okay, that's okay. Deciding on it, yeah, well, I mean, right, Cassidy,
Yes.
Right.
No, no.
So we just, and we discussed it.
These are all eliminated. This one is not documented for the teacher.
No. We
This
just
one is
do
not
it as a
documented.
courtesy.
That is all together.
Obviously, it's good to use, but
I haven't even looked at one.
Oops.
Have a good day, sir. Have a good day. Thank you. We'll send those letters. You can toss them away.
Mr. Highsmith, did I get you correctly to say that you're just amusing these people by answering the questions? Like you said with the public hearing and the public thing for the public meeting, that the board does not have to listen to them, they just have to entertain them? Wasn't that your quote, sir? Is that your quote, sir? You said that they only have to entertain them. Is that the position of the AG's office, or is that your position, sir? As a public official, are you refusing to answer the question, sir, of a public citizen?
What other kind of citizen is there?
Okay, so are you refusing to answer the question? Didn't you just say that they are only supposed to entertain the public? They're not supposed to listen to them. Thank you for your time. I don't know if you guys caught that. The Attorney General's guy said that all they have to do is entertain us, and they did all this just as a courtesy. All they did was this as a courtesy. He said they don't have to listen to us.
We're in the public.
Okay? What? I got it. He said it in the meeting. He said it.